On September 6th, I was very bored and looking for any excuse to go rail fanning. So, when a CP duo rolled through Elkhart, I was excited because, well, CPKC, and rushed to the depot to catch it. However, when I got there, we noticed a couple things. First off, the depot had actually been cleaned. It looks very nice now. And there was a train just sitting just beyond the curve, which turned out to be Norfolk Southern 34J. And after only a little bit of waiting, it throttled up and rolled by, with a DC Gevo in the lead. Apparently, Norfolk Southern is planning on rebuilding these, so they'll probably become the new Dash 9 sooner rather than later. While the motive power on this train might not have been that special, the rolling stock certainly was. There was this awesome trio with 2 Suline hoppers and a CP Pac-Man hopper, and even an IPD boxcar. I know these things are rare in 2025. After it passed, we looked back and saw another train was stopped in the same place where 34J had been stopped. And looking west, we saw yet another train approaching from that direction, which was Norfolk Southern 17N. However, to my complete shock and horror, I looked back and saw the eastbound coming up, and I was going to get blocked. Great. However, I was in even more shock to see the red front of a Canadian Pacific engine instead of the Norfolk Southern one that had been sitting in the siding. This was actually CPKC 230, which rolled by eastbound passing the stop train, with a CP Gevo leader and KCS one as a mid-DPU. Pretty nice. This train also had some pretty cool cars right before the mid-DPU, like a Winchester and Western hopper, as well as a Burlington Northern one. And as the KCS DPU rolled into view, I sadly heard the sound of 17N right behind it getting blocked. And if you look closely at the front of the KCS engine, you can actually see the last engine of 17N go by. Ugh. After the second time getting brutally blocked in less than a month, I was pretty upset, but my disappointment wouldn't last very long as I saw the non-flashing ditch lights and red front of CP 130. I said CP instead of CPKC. I knew this would happen! Of CPKC 137 approaching, with a beautiful Canadian Pacific back-to-back duo, with a Gevo leading and AC-44 rebuild trailing second. I'm just upset the clouds came in at the same time the star of the day did. Afterwards, we noticed that the train, which had been stopped in the siding, which turned out to be Norfolk Southern Local B10E, still hadn't moved. So we moved down to the hospital spot to try and see if we could get a better look. This was the view. Still not great, but at least I got the engine numbers for my train log. Either way, that was pretty much the end of that trip, as we had more stuff to do on this day. But the next weekend, on an equally busy day, I somehow managed to squeeze in some more rail fanning. This was on September 13th, and we came out for another CP duo, but with an EMD SD70 ACU, oh, you know I love those, in the lead. But just as we were pulling in, Norfolk Southern eastbound intermodal 260 appeared with a very rare ACC trailing third. This was a great catch. Yep, we got blocked again. Norfolk Southern 27G came in behind 260. I was really hopeful that 260 would clear before 27G since it was going fast, but, well... yeah. With an ace duo, I was very upset. If I had a nickel for every time I had an ace duo blocked by a random eastbound that I didn't see coming, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. But in a weird parallel with last trip, the CP duo came right after to cure my instant depression after that ace duo got blocked, with the glorious, magnificent, amazing pinnacle of engineering CP 7040 and SD70 ACU in the lead with a unrebuilt AC44 behind it. I love the ACUs. I don't think I've made it clear in previous videos how much I love these things. They're like 5 tiers above every other locomotive that exists. I love them so much, and this was my first time seeing a regular CP painted one with the camcorder, so I was very excited. I will admit, I kind of jerked the shot around a little, but hey, I'm not complaining. It's a CPACU. It's a CPACU. I know most people don't consider these engines too special, but whenever I see one, little monkey neurons in my brain go like, oh my god, it's you! Yes, it's you! Yes! However, right after that pass, the signal instantly turned yellow, so I decided to stick around for the next train, and here's my live reaction to seeing it.
Union Pacific? What? SD70M? Huh?
Needless to say, Norfolk Southern 39E absolutely continued the foam fest, with UP SD70M 4143 in the lead. I absolutely love these things. They're the second in line in awesomeness behind the ACUs. Behind it was 3 other Union Pacific engines. I think this is the most UP engines I've seen on a single train on Norfolk Southern. This is absolutely insane. Out of all the engines in this contest, I'm so glad they picked the 4143 to be the leader. And after that train passed, the signal immediately turned yellow again for Norfolk Southern 257, which of course we waited for. Unfortunately, this was the end of not only the activity for this block of traffic, but also the foam fest, because power was just 2 Norfolk Southern GE junk engines. Awesome. And with that, it also marked the end of the CP invasion and the return of Norfolk Southern to their home rails, and thus the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. This one was kinda slapped together, so I hope it wasn't too noticeable. But with all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to come back next time for more rail fanning videos just like this one, and catch those units while you can, especially the Canadian Pacific duos, and I will see you in the next video.